Hey, what's up? It's Tati, and I am back with another video. Look, yesterday I almost had a mini heart attack when I read that Dark Side of the Ring was canceled. Now, at first I was bummed out about it, but then I thought about it. Dirt sheets, they usually are based on like pure speculation and what's obvious. I don't want to say they're always wrong, but at times they are. And I figured that if they really aren't canceled, we should wait to hear from Vice themselves to know what exactly was going on. So I decided that I think I should wait before I actually really feel bummed out about it. And Vice actually came out stating that those were rumors and that they do have another season and also other projects about pro wrestling. And you know what, I could totally see why people were fooled by this, because that plane ride from hell episode was just so chaotic. Like after that episode aired, like it really shook up pro wrestling, and even people who don't know anything about wrestling was all into this story because, well, it's pretty crazy. And basically they tried to cancel Ric Flair. In some ways they did, because he did lose a lot of endorsements and things that way. So as far as him, making money and things like that, he definitely did take a loss in that. I believe he ended up divorcing his wife. I don't know if that has anything to do with that story, but he did come out and say that he was never even married to her. So who knows? Maybe they just had a wedding. It wasn't officially married. I believe that was his fifth wife. Don't quote me on that. I think so. And what was so crazy about this was that people began to be what's that word? Like they thought twice about if they had an interview, what was okay to say, what wasn't okay to say. And it's like kind of like not telling the truth about something and talking about it, you know what I mean? Like for a topic like the plane ride from hell, like how can you possibly tell that full story without kind of incriminating other people or even yourself? Tommy Dreamer received a lot of fucking shit from this too, because of his comments. And I mean, I do feel like his comments were a bit strange, but a lot of people received negative reactions from this. Even JR stated that he wouldn't do another interview with the show, because even though he came out not so negative like everyone else, I think he didn't want to associate himself with possibly putting like heat on himself based on his opinions and some comments that he said, because ultimately he was there when a lot of those things were going down. Maybe he didn't see certain things or whatnot, but he was knowledgeable of what was going on. And Ric Flair, he received the worst out of everything. But I don't want to go into too much information about Scott Hall, because he recently passed away. But after that episode, I actually dug into the actual transcripts from the the court documents and things, and he was more involved in what the show actually states. Well, I don't want to say more involved. Let's just say there was much more accusations against Scott Hall, and like as I stated, like he just passed away. I don't want to talk about those things, but if those things are true, I can see why people would obviously not want to support Hall or anybody who had anything to do with that negatively. And not just Scott Hall too, but actually Dustin Runnels had some pretty negative accusations as well for that case. So there was a lot of things that was not mentioned, but if you were to read the documents, you would see the full accusations and whatnot. So I could see why people don't want to be involved in the future, which actually sucks, because a lot of people that we want to hear from are going to be the ones to kind of refrain from giving their thoughts on things And you know, you want to hear from JR, you want to hear from those people who has experienced so much within this business and who can just tell stories for years and years on end. And I could totally see why they would want to cancel if people were feeling like, you know, I don't feel like this is good for me to come and speak on certain things because I don't want to tarnish my reputation, or I don't know, just ruin future things that they have going on within the wrestling world by releasing, you know, crazy negative information with these interviews. So I totally get it. But it looks like we'll get a season 4, and I hear that they're also working on something with Dwayne The Rock Johnson about wrestling during the territory days. So that'll be really interesting to put out there. Hey, if it's about pro wrestling, I'm like so into it. I would love to watch if it's done correctly. And I think that the show has actually done the actual documentation really well, and I love how they have those visuals about the stories with those actors and how they do it. I think they do a really good job. But unfortunately, the show is called The Dark Side of the Ring for a reason, that they're going to discuss things that are not so positive, putting out there about certain situations that happen. They can have God knows how many topics for season 4. I'm not really sure at the moment like what I can think of that they would cover for season 4, but I do know that because of that episode specifically, people are going to hold back a lot of information and stuff, so it's not going to feel as authentic. Maybe, I'm not sure, but hey, we'll see when the episodes do come out. Hopefully that doesn't change anything and the show is still as good as the other seasons. I definitely will be back in covering season 1. I did leave off from the episode about Bruiser Brody and his death. That's one of my favorite episodes, actually, and one of the most mysterious things that's happened in pro wrestling. Let me just take that back real quick. Maybe not most mysterious, maybe we know what happened, but unfortunately in the United States, in this world, if there is no evidence, there's no case. So this is a very interesting story to talk about, and that will be my next review. Thanks for watching.